Hello everyone. Good afternoon, not evening. And welcome to tonight's semi-final. I am Chris. Joining me on the metaphorical casting desk is also Chris. So for the
Hello.
sake of clarity, I'll be going by Computero. He'll be going by Geo.
Mhm. Glad
And
we clarified that because it would be very confusing otherwise.
it's just a quick word now from Geo Chris about our
Yeah, I'd just
sponsors
like
today.
to I'd just like to thank our valued sponsors Monster Energy and Kovacs. If you're ever looking for like a boost in performance, whether it's in game, Overwatch, in real life, like you play badminton, tennis, ping pong, lawn bowling, anything you name it, Monster Energy has you covered. They provide you your daily vitamins. Vitamin B, great for promoting energy levels in the body. Caffeine, as you know, great for promoting like hyperactivity, heightened sense of focus, combined with ultra amazing flavors. They have over a dozen for you to choose from. There's something for you out there at Monster Energy. Go visit Monster Energy at your local convenience store. You can buy them anywhere, online, Amazon, whatever. Also, check out Kovacs. Great for improving your game mechanics, whether it's Overwatch or Valorant, Call of Duty, anything, you name it. Download Kovacs now on Steam. It's on their website. It's only like $14, and it will guarantee you an increase of 25% in your rating in any game, or your money back. I guarantee you.
Now, with that quick word, our teams for today in the semi-final, it's U of T Blue. That I should hope we all know, in U of T viewers or Washington viewers, since our other team is UWashington. And yeah, the teams are both ready. So without any further delay, we'll get into the game. Our first map is going to be Lijiang Tower.
Yeah, just a classic first map, to be honest. Very standard map. We've seen this hundreds of times over the course of the past, 6 years, 7 years of OW. Things haven't changed too much even with the release of Overwatch 2. The comps are still kind of similar. You have the Brawl with the Rhine. You have the option for Symmetra, Mei with the Brawl. You have Dive as a potential comp for a map like Gardens, but it looks like we're heading over to Control Center. What do you expect to see here in terms of comps?
Oh, Control Center, of all the points on Lijiang, is sort of the most straightforward. It's the most... Usually it's the one where you see the most brawl. And it looks like U of T... It looks like both teams actually looking to run fairly similar brawl compositions. We'll see if they're going out of spawn with this, but it looks like Ramat Ramirez and I think the Mei in particular for Washington is going to be a pretty important pick. Keep your eye on that one.
Yeah, so it's looking like a poke comp, like poke-oriented brawl from UFT side, whereas Washington are opting for a more head-on, face-to-face brawl.
As we head in now, both teams sort of posturing on point. Iverson looking to get himself directly on point now for UFT. Falls low, Maywall blocking. Washington putting heavy pressure on Iverson, but he manages to survive. Nemesis form comes out now for Sneaky, as it's both teams fighting on point. U of T postured, setting up their Hanzo on the high ground, but Dino picked off by SME. At the same time, the Mei for Washington falls down. Immortality comes out as well, as Landmark is putting heavy pressure on these supports in the back. They fall low, but so does Aspect, who does get picked up. So does Lan, and it looks like, though Argentine is trying to stall it out, it does look like it is going to be Washington taking this first capture onto Lijiang Tower.
Yes, well played by Washington there. Nice display of mechanical skill, especially when facing against the positioning of UFT. UFT was playing to their strengths, taking far angles, taking off angles that Washington couldn't really speed in on anyone or get a wall out. But they ended up taking the fight regardless.
Now Lan's already in. Pulse comes out onto the Mei. She falls down, so does Daleth on Lucio. Dino gets picked up, but it doesn't look like it's going to be enough. Immortality comes out, comes down, and now Sneaky in trouble. The amplification matrix comes out. But Lan is already on Karin's Baptiste, preventing him from getting much value out of that. And credit where credit's due, 40%, and they're stalling it out even further. Washington really understanding how important sort of stalling and preventing, neat cleanups is on control, as U of T does flip the point, but with Washington holding 48% ult charge, and now we're seeing some significant ults going to be coming into play for the next fight.
Yeah, Washington stalled it to 50%, which is pretty significant. And Lan was actually a little tad late because he was running some extra practice routines in Kovacs. And he came back and just got that 3k with the excellent sticky bomb. Great tracking and pacing by Lan. Just exactly what Kovacs can do.
Big Dragons comes out. Washington do speed their way out. Beat comes out for U of T, but it's not quite enough as the Deadeye for SME picks up 2. Lan falls as well, and it looks like it's going to be a quick recapture from UWashington, only 32% on the board for U of T. So both teams sort of pick up the point and then lose a fight right after, but in the case of U of T, they lose the fight much, much quicker, giving them significantly less charge on the control point, as they're looking to come back in now. Early poke coming in, and Lan now swapping onto Echo, one of his sort of signature characters, Dino on Cassidy, as Annihilation comes out, big Maywall blocking off the Kitsune Rush, and Aspect forced to use that ult, but he falls low, not able to find too much with it. Lan gets picked up, and now U of T looking in a tricky position. Argeny comes down as well. Iverson falling really, really low. He's got 2 on him. Does manage to pick up Dallas Lucio before being taken out, but it looks like U of T are going to be forced back, and now it's a question of whether or not they can even get a retouch, as it's 96% now for Washington. Dino being zoned off. It looks like Argeny is going to be the one to touch, but and Lan just barely can't make it.
Yeah, well played by Washington. Immediately countering that Kitsune rush from Kuro with the Maywall, like basically rendering it useless and just sucking all the value out of that. And they just ended up splitting up U of T so much. Sneaky was just able to pick off one player after another, and they just secured that quite decisively.
Yeah, I think you saw at times there also a little bit of the sort of difficulty Kunalun was having, really giving strong support in that brawl to Iverson, to Aspect, with the sort of relatively limited healing that Kiriko provides. And it looks like now U of T switching up their comp, they're going to be running Ana Zen with D.Va, and this sort of D.Va dive comp with Ana Zen is, we've seen it quite a lot from them before, a lot yesterday. It is a favorite of U of T Blue. And Sojourn now for Washington, as it's early poke coming in. Aspect commits onto Sojourn, doesn't quite find her, and now, Sneaky walking on the back line, SME coming in as well. 3 down for U of T. Aspect just getting staggered out on point, and once again Washington taking the first capture, and already we're seeing Dino swapping onto the Sojourn to contest Noixons, and now Iverson coming back. Now we have Lan giving some early pressure.
Yeah, there's just so much pressure, and Sneaky was just able to walk in on the entirety of U of T's backline. Here comes the next fight.
Yeah, Aspect falling low. Argeny tries to heal him, but it's not quite enough, but Sneaky being pressured very hard with that Discord or Poodle does manage to survive, but Iverson perhaps going to have enough space and time bought from to find a remake. SME now taken down by Lan in the Tracer duel, and Sneaky is picked up by Lan and Poodle Noodle with that Discord orb, and now it's a question of Karin managed to pick up Lan. And so it does look like U of T are going to be winning this fight, but it's a question of how clean they can make it, how quickly they can get it, and how long Washington can stagger back onto point, as they do take 54% before the point is slipped.
Yeah, it was pretty decisive, but Washington was able to secure that 54%. 5 ults coming up from both sides, actually, save for the Sojourn, so we might see a ton of resources being exchanged here, and a very ult-heavy fight coming up.
Well, now once again, Sneaky just walking at that Ana of Argeny. Dino also falls down, so does Poodle, and it looks like Washington are going to be looking to take this fight pretty quickly to recapture, and in pretty clean fashion. Only one ultimate ability committed. Admittedly, none committed from U of T Blue.
Yeah, I'm
But
just not
they,
sure what happened there. Sneaky was just able to ult and just run on UFT's backline uncontested. No sleep darts was able to be used. No trance was ready, and UFT was just not prepared for that.
yeah, you have to wonder, maybe they were hoping on Kunal to get the trance prepared faster, but now they're coming in. Aspects diving in off the back of an anti from Arginate as the Nano Sojourner comes out. Kitsune and also Beat coming up to counter Transcendence. Also, it's really just everyone pressing Q here, and it looks like U of T with the slightly bigger ultimate bank to spend do take this point, but now it's 97% for Washington. They only need one fight win to take the whole map. And we see Lan now trying to get set up for a pulse bomb. Looks like he's, scouted by the other Tracer. There we go. There's the Tracer 1v1 going on. And yeah, U of T still with, I would say, roughly even on ults. It's, we're gonna see what Noisance can get done with that overclock though. As Lan's coming in with Pulse, looking at, and Noisance get picked up right away. And that overclock gets nothing out of it, and Poodle Noodle falls, but other than that, it is a very clean fight win from U of T.
It's well played by Dino, instantly dinking Noxians as soon as he pops the overclock. That's just the power of Kovacs. He also did his morning routine. What he likes to do is he likes to practice tracking. Even though he's a hit scan player, he plays Cassidy, Sojourn, the tracking is still really powerful, and it's a good way to warm up your mechanics for just overall general use in the game. As you can see, like Dino is just popping off this game.
Yeah, now Sneaky's caught in a tricky position. Discord comes onto him, putting him very low, and Dino comes in with a railgun to take him down. However, Iverson also falls, so now it's no tanks in the game, and it's a question of Washington do manage to find the touch, which is 99% for U of T. Can they find it? Noisance is down. One Tracer is forced out. Just supports online. Daleth falls. Nano comes out for U of T as the Doomfist comes back from Washington, but immediately falls, and it does look like U of T are going to be able to take this second stage of Legion Tower. Not after some quite intense stalling, but they do take the second stage of Legion Tower, and now it's 1-1 as we're going to be heading into Gardens.
Yeah, that was a lot. That was a lot more convincing on the side of UFT. That was not the UFT we saw in the first point. They've definitely warmed up. They've downed their monster energy drinks. We have a mandated 2 drinks per game day rule. They've downed them. The caffeine is in the blood system. They're good to go, as you can see. But they flipped that point, 99 to 50%, and they ended up winning that point.
It really is. It does look like Washington much more comfortable in the brawl, U of T favoring the sort of diva dive, and it does look like, in the Ram mirror, especially with the Mei for Washington, they struggle a bit more, but when they're able to, play to their strengths with that sort of diva tracer zen, they look really strong. And now we're seeing an interesting comp coming out for Washington. Jungle Queen with Sombra Tracer.
Very interesting. I don't think I've ever seen this, at all. I guess this is reminiscent of the Jungle Queen goats, but we have a Mora instead of a Brig.
And yeah, Sombra Tracer you normally see with sort of ball or instant dive. Now, Sneaky falls very low from an anti-nade from Archon. He does get picked up. Look at the number of assists in that kill feed. Poodle Noodle is taken down, but so is Kareem, trading out supports, as now it's a battle of Tracer versus Sombra. Argeny coming in to help is Lucio, but is picked up by Noisance on Tracer, and now Land falls low with no supports. Left alive for U of T. They do clean it up, however, taking down Daleth and Noisance. As U of T win that first fight, it's a scrappy one, but U of T coming out pretty decisively on top, and with a bit of a lead on ultimate charge as Kareen swaps now off of Moira onto Kiriko, perhaps to deal with those anti-nades from Poodle Noodle. And now, both teams fostering, Iverson falling somewhat low, as the hack comes out onto Dino, and the Tracer Sombra with the Jungle Queen sped in, takes down Dino. Pulse Bomb fails to from Land, but Noisance falls, so does Poodle Noodle. And Sneaky does manage to get pressure low. That Jungle Queen just so squishy, with only 450 health for a tank, but It's 3 on point now for Washington. They do manage to flip it as Iverson is forced to back off a little bit to heal up. With the Ana taken out of the fight, Karine falls very low, does get picked up, but so does Iverson's mech, and the beat is slightly too late to save that baby diva after EMP comes out from SME. Pulse Bomb comes out, looks like it doesn't connect, but Dolph does poop Poodle off the map, and yeah, there you go. Washington do take, oh, Varsity coming back, that's, that's, as a Lucio player in Gardens, that's, everyone on stream stalling the point like that with the rollouts. And indeed, Argentine does. So now, Washington do take that. They did manage to flip the fight briefly mid-fight, but UT looks like flipped it back, so they're only at about 30% charge. As now beat online for them, compared to only, right now, Nano for Noodle.
And we see Iverson swapping over to the Orisa, hoping to counter the Jungle Queen in that fashion. And Jungle Queen gets slept by Cool Noodle, but Cool Noodle does fall. Yeah. And there goes
that Jungle Queen ult without a Kiriko on your team to counter it. Just so powerful. UFT, I think, wisely don't invest any ults into that, because, yeah, Jungle Queen ult picks up 3, they're anti, taking so much damage. It's really, at that point, almost a free win button.
Yeah, it was pretty much over as soon as the JQ landed a 3-man there. Fight was just done in like 10 seconds even.
Now SME scouting out UFT's rotation, looking perhaps to get a pick onto Dino, maybe Poodle Noodle. Yeah, Cat comes out onto Poodle Noodle. Beat comes out for for Washington as well as Kitsune Rush, and that's just a fast engage on Poodle Noodle. Again, 4 assists in the kill feed. But UFT, they are scrapping this one out. They trade player for player, and now it's just a messy fight. Land does fall though, so does Aspect, and yeah, with only a Lucio to sustain compared to the Kiriko for Washington, UFT once again not quite able to make it work, as it's 92%. It's not just last fight territory, it's a question of whether or not they can even get the touch. It looks like Argentine is going to go for it now, comes out onto land. How much can he get done with this? He's pushed very low on health. Recall is forced out as EMP comes out for Washington, picks up Poodle Noodle, picks up Dino, and they're in dire straits here. Karine does fall, but so does Argentine. The last bit of healing for UFT, as Land is the only one left on point, making a heroic effort, trades out against the other Tracer, but Gardens scrappy there, but Washington looking very convincing there, especially with their ult cycling. And they do take our first map, 2-1, on Lijiang Tower.
Yeah, very good ult cycling, as you mentioned, by Washington, just making just good use of combos and just the timing and taking initiative and getting the jump on UFT. But as we see this amazing play by Dino,
headshot.
That was a nasty headshot. Sponsored by Kovacs. Dino does his routines every morning, 30 minutes minimum. First tracking, as I mentioned, then flick shotting.
Yeah, that headshot is brought to you by Kovacs. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So now our next map, we're looking at, what is it? Our next map is going to be a hybrid map.
Hybrid, yeah.
So now, yeah, what do you think? What do you think we're going to be looking at for this next one, Chris?
We could be looking at a number of maps from the game Overwatch 2. I bet we might see some King's Row actually.
It is UT's pick, and we have seen Blue pick King's Row in the past. It is,
We have.
Surprisingly enough, they do like it. I know there's not many Overwatch players who share that opinion, but UT Blue do seem to think that, King's Row, bit of a good map.
A good map, still like one of the most well-liked maps in the history of Overwatch. If they do go to King's Row, though, UFT will probably run the Brawl, but they might not run the traditional Mei Cassidy or Mei Hanzo Brawl. We haven't seen them run Mei, I don't think. They usually opt for a more poke.
Yeah, they usually prefer to run the Flex CPS LAN on Tracer over Mei.
Yeah.
When they run Brawl, and yeah, it is. I mean, I think it's just going to be a question throughout the series as a whole, because we saw on that first point of Lijiang, how strong that Brawl from UW looked, and 1 point of one map isn't enough to say decisively, but I do think that if we see a Brawl mirror coming out again, you have to wonder what UFT is going to be able to do to deal with that Mei, who is just such a potent force. in Brawl. Really, so controlling.
Yeah, but it looks like we're not going to see Kings. We're going to see Eichenwald. This
Mm.
is actually quite different from Kings. Second point favoring dive comp, but first point you can still run Brawl for sure. Still run the May.
Eichenwald, I mean, there's a thematic similarity, I guess. Kings Row sort of famously, at least up until Ramatra came into the game, but historically, the Reinhardt map, really. And Eichenwald, lore-wise, the Reinhardt map, it is, I do think, a little funny how so often the sort of character-themed maps don't really fit the character's gameplay-wise. I mean, you can run Reinhardt, but Lucio and Putty, so that sort of thing. Eichenwald, I do expect to see that D.Va comp coming out of U of T. It is, we've seen Iverson running D.Va a lot yesterday, especially. It does seem to be sort of where U of T are the most comfortable. So it is primarily a question of what Washington are going to want to run themselves. I don't have quite as good a picture in my head of what their playstyle is compared to U of T. And it does look like we're going to be having a substitution in the support line of Washington, just to preempt any confusion for the viewers. Mags is being swapped in, Karin being swapped out on the, I believe, flex support role for Washington. Lineup for U of T staying the same.
Yep.
No confusion there, hopefully, except for if I refer to Iverson as Aspect. In which case, just be aware that they are the same person.
Yep, Iverson is indeed Aspect. Same person
Aspect
here.
is Iverson.
That's true.
As
Also,
Eichenwald. What a beautiful map with that, lovely. Is this the new lighting? I actually don't remember what the original lighting was. I think this is.
I think this is the new one. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's got that
think...
nice like dappled leaf effect. It's sort of like it's like a late afternoon kind of vibe going. A lot of
late
oranges.
afternoon, early evening, maybe. It's kind of like the weather outside right now.
Yeah, it's beautiful, sunny.
Very,
No, I was saying
nice.
before we started, it's it really is like great sporting weather out. Last couple days, just like bright, sunny, warm. And I really do think that is translating here now to like just this fantastic level of play we're seeing in Overwatch. Just because it's such, as they're out there with their, computers in the field, feet in the grass, I'm sure they're, really enjoying the sunlight and being unable to see their monitors.
Oh yeah, actually, U of T opened up a brand new gaming facility at Mississauga Beach. So they are in fact playing in the beach house right now on the patio. Really? Yes they are. Yes, I just got word from their manager. But so
Okay,
they definitely have the weather buff here.
And it looks like early scouting with the Sombra as oh, we're actually seeing Iverson on Ramatra. I was wrong with the D.Va pick. Maybe we'll see that coming up on attack or on later points. With the early scouting, Washington swapping up their comp, and they are running, Ramatra Brawl Mirror, virtually mirror comps, with the only difference being the flex supports, Titico for U of T and Baptiste for Washington, as, the Ramatra's Rock'em Sock'em robots just punching away at each other. Sneaky falling slightly lower, forced to back out, not able to get too much space with that Nemesis form. As Dino looking for some poke, hits a beautiful headshot onto Mags, brought to you by Kovacs, as that Baptiste falls down, and without that, healing for your Brawl comp, it's a pretty quick follow-up, taking down Sneaky, but good retreat from UWashington prevents any more of their players from getting picked up. Yes, it does. Land not quite able to find Nuisance there.
Oh, Kudoodle falls. That could be
very
important.
Nasty headshot from Nuisance. Maybe they have some Kovacs of their own. Nuisance, however, does get traded out by Lamek, and Sneaky now falling very low. So is Iverson. Though Dino taken down, no Sojourns anywhere to be seen, and it looks like U of T are backing off. Perhaps they're going to go for the recontest. It does look like Lamb has been spotted in the back, finds the touch, forced to recall out. And now Amplification Matrix comes out, so does Kitsune Rush. Ult's being traded. Iverson falling very, 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 very low in that Nemesis form, but does manage to get kept up as both supports are taken out for UWashington. Iverson is taken down, but not shortly after Sneaky is traded out, and yeah, we're just in cleanup phase. SME is taken down.
Just great cleanup by UFT. I actually thought they were gonna give up the point there, but they just managed to contest and bring it back. Using just the Ram ults. Actually, no, they did use
No,
quite a few ults.
they use
Yeah.
more ults. Yeah.
They use more ults, yeah.
And we do have the later pulse from Lan also, meaning they're behind on pulse charge. And the remaining ults now coming out from UFT, Dino, or no, sorry, Iverson picks up Noxious, Mortality Field comes out, taken down, Mags falls, Poodle Noodle though, falls to the annihilation of Sneaky, as now the fight is even on numbers. Sneaky very, very, very low without that Baptiste for healing though. Beat is forced out for Daleth. And that early beat being forced out is really going to hurt as Sneaky's still low, but the pulse comes out from SME, takes down Iverson, and it does look like Argeny is trying to stall, but it does look Argeny and Lance stalling. Oh, U of T, just the stall masters today. Are they going to be? No, they're not going to be able to take this back. No, no.
Oh, surely.
Run out. No, it's Chris, not Shirley.
I thought UFT were somehow going to I don't know, bring that back somehow. But
Oh,
no,
look, Lucio
it was
on
not
his
enough.
backpack. It's like a frog. I never noticed that before.
Oh, it is. Wait.
Yeah. That's awesome.
That's interesting.
Yeah, no, we do have a slight ult advantage for Noixens, who does get taken down though. And yeah, Noixens falls, Mags falls. Land is taken down, but Sneaky dies for it, and it looks like UFT are going to be very, very quickly retaking this point. Looks like, yeah, I'm not 100% sure what happened there, but it does look like Noixens and Sneaky perhaps getting a little bit overambitious, trying to cushion that staircase to get picked up. As Noixens is going to be looking to get something done with that overclock, surely.
UFT were just really good on stopping Washington's rotate there, collapsing on when they're most vulnerable, and they were just able to win that fight just by abusing their vulnerability in the rotate.
This time the rotate does slip past Aspect, who is pushing into the back. Lucio and Tracer coming in to help him, as it looks like the map is being somewhat flipped now. Nemesis forms coming out for Washington. No ults still being committed at this stage in the fight, even as heavy pressure comes out on Lucio, but Sneaky picks up Dino and Iverson. Overclock comes out from Noixens, doesn't manage to find anything. Argeny falls, Noixens comes down, Daleth falls, but it's not going to be enough for U of T. They do manage to make that fight a little messy, stall it out a bit more, but they all fall down, and Washington now are pushing into the second phase of this second point of our second map of the semi-final. There's no second in that word. U of T coming back in though. Amplification Maker just coming in to match the Kitsune Rush. Sneaky goes in with Annihilation, but falls very, very, very low, just barely managing to survive. As Aspect now with Annihilation on the low ground, and this all-out chaos here. And it looks like U of T thriving a little bit more. Sneaky still so low on health, and with no Baptiste to support. As U of T are 4 against 3. Annihilation for Iverson coming out, being matched by Sneaky. Beat comes out for both sides, as this fight is just a slugfest, dragging out, but Sneaky does go down as the cart is being sneakily pushed, not by Sneaky, but by the Tracer for Washington.
And these fights have just been so bloody. Every time I think one team's gonna win, they open up with 2 picks, and I just think that team is gonna win, but the other team just always brings it around. Just ends up tying it out, and they just end up using like 10 ults.
And really, I
it
think
is just madness.
That fight's decided when Sneaky falls solo and can't get anything with Annihilation, and when Mags gets picked up. But you know, it just was dragged out for so long. Now Dino coming in with the overclock. How many headshots can you get brought to you, Blake? No headshots, but lots of damage, lots of pressure coming out. Plenty of pressure coming onto Iverson as well, though, as teams trading damage, but neither really getting any kills out of it. As its last fight territory for Washington, SME forced to use the recall. Sneaky picks up Dino, but is falling very low himself, does get taken down. Poodle Noodle also falls. SME
C9?
is not able to touch. Perhaps we are potentially looking at some sort of a C9 there. I think regardless, it's a a lost fight for Washington almost certainly with their tank out of the game. A Ramatra without without much to hold him down is pretty scary. I think it's safe to say.
That's
Yeah, we
true.
see just an all-out slugfest of an attack there of a first half on Eichenwald. Just some really scrappy fights. Real nail biters that sort of seem to flip who's winning every few seconds. And now, as it is going to be U of T's attack, it looks like Washington coming onto the defense with a different idea. It is the D.Va that I predicted on Aachen-Wald, but coming out of Washington instead of U of T. U of T looking, at least from what they have selected now, to be running the same brawl that they were on before, whereas, yeah, this comp for Washington is sort of almost a similar idea to what U of T were running on Lijiang.
Yeah, this is very similar to what UFT were running on Lijiang, just trying to take advantage of those long sight lines on first point, and possibly the high ground, as UFT try to make their way to point under the bridge, just for a moment being vulnerable to those long sight lanes that Hanzo, Ana, and Zen can abuse.
Now, early poke coming in here. SME staged up on the high ground, trying to perhaps set up a dive on that Tracer. Lan looking for the duel, is forced to recall, but SME also pushed out. As now heavy pressure coming on Sneaky, was forced to back up, but Iverson taking so much damage with that Orb of Discord on him. Oh, but the speed comes in, the fast, aggressive push onto Noixens does pick up the Hanzo, and now it's Lan on the high ground, pressuring Mags. Almost manages to take him down, and it's Varsity with a beautiful follow-up, booping Daleth onto the low ground, who is shortly a second boop, booping off the map entirely. Sneaky demeched, and Lan looking to finish what he started. Argeny kill-stealing Mags there. And U of T in very quick, decisive fashion taking that first point on Aachen-Wald, and I think we're seeing perhaps a little bit of why they chose this, looking very comfortable fighting on this map in somewhere in Germany. I think Black Forest region, if I recall correctly.
I believe, yeah, Black Forest sounds right.
Some great ham comes from over there. That's about and
Oh,
coal
yeah.
also. That's about the extent of my knowledge. Noixens finds the pick onto Dino, is traded out by Iverson, and just the Ramattra speeding onto the team takes down 3 before himself falling. Argeny going to fall very low, and just barely managing to survive against SME, as it looks like U of T are in the clear for now. Washington looking for a quick reset. SME picked up
Ooh.
by...
As
it
this
looks
comp from Washington, you have to be really mindful of your positioning. Your heroes are very immobile, save for Tracer and D.Va, so you have to position very carefully, be mind of your crossfires, your line of sights,
And we've
or
seen
else
twice
UFT are just
those
going to
fast
punish you.
rushes. We've seen twice those fast rushes from Iverson just running onto that backline. Noixens once again taking down Dino, but it looks like Aspect trying to get into the backline. Does get slipped, but Kudel is there with the cleanse. Lan trying to follow up the Kudel with Kitsune Rush. Also, Daleth does get taken down, although not without quite heavy commitment, as Iverson taken down in the middle of his annihilation, thanks to that pulse bomb from SME. And it's turning into another scrap fest. Dino coming back as Sneaky demeched over the canyon, falls off the map. Noixens down on 1 health. Lan is, yes, going to find the kill. Falls down to 1, but Argeny is there with the beat to save. Pulse goes wide, forces Fade out at least, as, yeah, this fight just another real slugfest coming in. Transcendence comes in, but Mag booped off the map. Remove Transcendence looks like Dragons as a last ditch, but Sneaky demeched. The self-destruct comes out, but there's no one alive to contest.
Wow.
U of T in pretty decisive fashion, looking very strong there on Aachen-Wald. I think you can really see why they picked that map, looking super comfortable on it. And Dino once again with play of the game on Sojourn, bringing me back to 2022 meta. As yeah, once again, if you want to be as good as this guy, it's not as easy as Kovacs actually. I've tried, but I'm sure it helps.
It'll definitely help. And you can pick up Kovacs now on Steam. On PC, console, or Nintendo Switch, on your phone even. Download it right now.
Wait,
Check it out.
is there
Kovacs.com.
Kovacs for is mobile Kovacs a real thing? I don't know how that would work.
I don't think that's a real
Is that
thing.
is that just like tap on the screen kinda?
I Yeah, I guess yeah, you just flick on your touchscreen. Like that's mobile esports is an up and coming like market. It's actually growing in popularity every year. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's like Kovacs for mobile, to be honest, or
Well,
even Aim Labs or something like that.
to be equally honest, I think I would be surprised. To tell you the truth. By the way, since I'm just looking at our caster screen, looking at our lovely cats. What's your cat's name, Chris?
This is actually Mr. Producer's cat. His name is Adonis.
Aww.
It's very, very, very cute. I even got some custom mugs. Uh,
Courtesy of Monster Energy. No, that's not true.
that's not true. Yeah,
Um,
I
yeah,
wish
my
though.
little guy, his name's Mr. Purr.
Mr. Purr. I like that name. That's a very nice name.
Yeah, he's a good boy. I'm just thinking about my cat now, but it's not time to think about cats. It's time to think about Overwatch as our next map is going to be Circuit Royale. That's the pick for UWashington, and Circuit Royale, real sniper map. I'm sure we all, well, the Widow players among us, I'm sure love it on ladder, and the rest of us probably not so much.
Yeah, I'm looking at you, Widow players, in the chat. Illusion, always asking for Circuit Royale in hugs. I know.
Really just gonna
I see
call him
you.
up by name. Wow, just naming names and taking heads shortly, I'm sure. Is that the? That's not how that goes. Um, as we load into Circuit Royale, it is Washington's pick, so you have to assume that they have quite a lot of confidence in Neusens on probably Widowmaker, maybe Sojourn, maybe Hanzo, but on some sort of sniper pick, maybe even a double sniper comp. And yeah, we have seen Dino, or at least I've seen Dino do a lot of work on Sojourn. I can't recall seeing him play Widow recently in tournament play.
Yeah, I don't recall that either. He's usually being on the Sojourn, like Hanzo, if I recall correctly. He played Hanzo on Lijiang first point, but he is on the Widow actually.
Yeah, he is. I mean, you would expect, a good Sojourn player, and a good Cassidy player, and a good Hanzo player to also be a good Widow player. In my
Oh,
case,
definitely.
because I'm bad, I'm only good at like two of them. But, well, there's a reason why I'm not on UFT Blue for hitscan. I'm not on UFT Blue for any role, in fact. Except casting, which is the most important one. Hope.
It's the best role. Let's be honest.
Practical mirror comps for both teams. The only difference being Daleth on Brigitte and Argeny on Baptiste. Baptiste can offer a lot more shield break, more heavy healing sustain. Brigitte is stronger in those close range engages and at deterring any dive that UFT doesn't really have. It's double sniper all the way though. Sneaky being pressured very, very heavily. Low on shield. Grasp comes out and Sneaky picked up with what looks like probably a headshot from Dino and a Discord Orb. But Iverson also falls to a headshot from SME. Oh wait, it's SME on Widow, not Neusens. I was wrong.
You didn't like my presence?
As now, yeah, both. I mean, neither team with a Sigma. Even though they do manage to take out the other team's tank, it's not really a decisive advantage. UFT pushing him to the corner now, backing off to wait for Iverson to come back, and Neusens hits the headshot onto Poodle, and we're going to be seeing a lot of that. Just people dropping more or less out of the blue to just 300 damage headshots. It's the nature of these maps and these characters. But Lamb trades that out, taking down the Widow of SME and really going crazy. Takes down Neusens with no snipers to contest the other snipers. They just have free reign. Daleth goes down, Sneaky goes down. Mags also gonna go down? Yes, not before doing a quite healthy amount of damage. Or unhealthy, I suppose, for Iverson, onto Iverson's Sigma, who is now going to be staging into the high ground, preventing a retouch, which indeed does not come, and UFT pretty quickly taking first point on Circuit Royale.
Yeah, taking it with convincing fashion. Just great picks by Lan. As you can see, snipers can just change the tide of the game.
Yeah, it was looking pretty rough with that early pick on Kunalud, but then it's it's a complex strategy. You have to give props to Marco for thinking of that one. Land, go kill. That can't be easy to think of. That's why we pay him the big bucks.
Yep. That's why he gets. Yeah, that's why we pay him. Also,
in Monster Energy.
in Monster Energy and Kovacs keys.
Yeah.
I'm
And now,
surprised Daleth is still on the Brick though. Brick doesn't provide too much value. I guess
well,
they
90
picked
to rally,
Brick
you don't want
for...
to swap right away, perhaps.
That's true, the rally's coming up, but the
Now,
Brick's just
Iverson
gonna fall
falls
right
down,
away.
but Landmag, once again, just, you know, killing everything in his sights. Takes out Noixens, takes out Daleth, takes out Mags, falls himself to 28 HP, but is gonna get healed up. Sneak coming in with the Flux, looked like... Oh, that was gonna pick up Dino, but the Immortality Field comes out from Argeny to get the save. Land being pressured out also as the Dragons come in to take down Poodle. Rally also coming in. There's that new, you know, Rally with Brigitte with the ultra-wide, high-resolution shield. And both snipers falling for UFT. Sneaky falls for Washington is not going to be enough, as huge amounts of ultimates traded for both sides. But Washington do manage to now stabilize with carts, looking to be about 10 or 20 meters away from finishing second point. UFT coming back in now for another push, and they do have Transcendence virtually online, as well as 70% to that Amplification Matrix of Argony. So they do have a bit of an ult advantage coming in here, as they're looking to pressure out Sneaky, but it's Iverson who's falling low, as well as Lamb. Just so much damage coming out, but Sneaky now falls one, but Iverson does get picked up. Daleth there with the whip shot, you know, heard Chris saying Brigitte doesn't provide much value, said, I'm going to show that guy. He doesn't understand the secrets of Sweden, I guess. Kudlin also falls. UFT looking just to retreat, reset, but the stagger kills coming out. Dino picked up as well. Argeny and Lamb taken down as well, and that stagger is going to hurt. Iverson now even perhaps going to be staggered. Getting pushed on pretty hard here. But Kudlin does come back, going to push Sneaky and Daleth away. And yeah, UFT now setting back up with Lamb on Tracer instead of Hanzo. That's... Oh. I was going to say it's an interesting pick, but it almost worked. Sneaky falling so low there on Sigma. And now the Amplification Matrix comes in. Flux forces Transcendence, but it's not quite enough as, thanks to this, you know... Well, mostly just headshots from Dino taking down Sneaky. UFT now, after, 3 minutes of fighting, are finally going to be able to finish a second point. Washington, you know, credit where it's due, giving them a much harder fight on that second point than they did on the first one, really making them work for it. As Dino takes down SME, Rally, still trying to get used to how that looks. The Rally coming out for Daleth allows Dino to get picked up. Supports full low, and Immortality Field forced out allows the picks to be made for UFT, but their spawn's right there.
Yeah,
Flux
earlier,
doesn't quite find anyone.
well, there's just so many kills being exchanged back and forth. This fight has felt like it's gone for forever almost. I was going to talk about how the Brig is providing a lot of value now, actually, in this close quarters hold. They're able to hold close because of this. Exactly, and Daleth is just finding more value because Lan is on the Tracer.
Really making it pretty hard for him to do work. As Noixens does find the pick onto Dino, but Daleth falls now, and with the Brigitte gone, you only have Zenyatta to rely on for healing. Perhaps that Transcendence is going to be forced out, but a beautiful hedge from Noixens takes down Lamb on the Tracer. SME putting Iverson very, very low on health. Immortality Field is forced out. Amplification Matrix comes out, but is not able to find too much. It does force out the Transcendence. And I stand corrected, both snipers falling to Iverson thanks to that Amplification Matrix. Sneaky falls, and so did Sports. It's a quick cleanup from there. Pretty good for a close hold, but UFT do manage to clean it up, and now we do have a... Well, actually, pretty even on ultimates for both teams.
Pretty even indeed. There's the Kudnoodle does have the chance in response to Sneaky's ult. Both teams have walls, so it's just gonna be a matter of who can get the first sniper pick, who can get early pressure, who can force out the most resources here.
Now, Iverson looking to push onto Noixens. Hanzo land with him, but SME does find the pick onto Dino. Lan is taken out by Noixens as Iverson is forced to back up. SME finds another pick on Argeny. Iverson just holding down S. Looking to get just, you know, that last little bit of flux charge, I think, and trying to buy space or hold space, really. for UT to come back as we're potentially in last fight territory here. Dino turns on the wall hacks. Someone report this man. As wall hacks in response also coming out for SME. Iverson really pressuring very hard into that little room, and land with a beautiful pulse bomb finds Daleth. SME does win the Widow duel, picks up Dino, but the Flux comes out, takes down Sneaky, and now it's dire straits for Washington. Noixens falls as well. And Land looking like he's getting pressured there by the Brigitte, who... with another... I can't get over how weird that big shield looks. But, you know, the Brigitte stun, the fear of every Tracer main, comes out, does manage to pick up Land, but Daleth falls fairly shortly after. Some nice shots from Mags take down Arjani, and now it's, you know, anyone's game here. It's a scrappy fight. Noixens falls, Koodle falls, Daleth falls, just kill after kill after kill, and it does look like Washington are able to stabilize here, probably. Yeah, there's the Transcendence.
Most likely,
yeah. There we go. Not quite a C9, as Dino does get killed just before being unable to touch point. So, you know, a little mercy kill onto Dino so that UFT don't C9, but all told, that's a, you know, they get it almost all the way through on Circuit Royale. That is a very, I would say, very good attack round, and it's going to be a question of what we're going to see from Washington. Realistically, it's going to be the same thing. I mean,
yeah. Like a very decent push by UFT, despite not making to the end, but we're definitely more than likely going to see the same, you know, sniper mirror with the SIG. We might still see the Brig. It is Circuit Royale, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that is an interesting. That is an interesting pick. I haven't really seen that before. Brigitte on Circuit Royale with double sniper. What do you make of that?
The Brigitte is good because there's also the option of running the ball dive on this map. So the Brig is good at shutting that down.
Yeah.
And if the other team opts for a Tracer with a sniper comp or poke comp, the Brig can also get a lot of value there.
And
but
I do think maybe they're making a bit of use of that new patch, you know, with the recent changes to Rally. I mean, we saw how Daleth was just able to sort of walk onto Iverson, just bash him in the face, stun him even through his shield. And, you know, maybe it's a thing of just being able to apply pressure to the Sigma in a way that, in a sort of different way with that ultimate compared to the shield break pressure from Baptiste. As now UFT running the exact same comp, Iverson, you know, or someone was starting on ball, I don't know. But it looks like no one's actually going to be playing ball, and now it is exactly mirror comp Daleth now on that Baptiste for the attack from UFT, as it's, you know, heavy spam coming out from both sides, arrows flying, orbs flying, rocks flying. You know, it's like a family dinner at a holiday reunion at my house. Some damage coming out. Noixens falls low, healed up. Shots flying. Snipers sniping. Arjani actually does get pressured off of high ground. Sneaky, however, does fall very low. So does Iverson. They're both forced to back out. Sigma's, you know, without their grasp, with very little shield left. But nothing is dying so far. That looks like it might be about to change. Iverson getting pressured very, very, very hard, but he does have the grasp to save him. And now that big clump of Washington taking lots and lots and lots of damage from those big, whatever they're called, gravity orbs of Iverson, as Noixens does get pressured out. Daleth, forced to use Immortality Field, which also is taken down. Daleth dies as well. Iverson just barely survives thanks to the matching Immortality Field from Arjani, and it looks like UFT are going to be able to hold this one, though they're not quite going to be able to push Sneaky out of that position, allowing a bit of an easier return and, you know, reset into this next fight, or this continuation of the fight. Perhaps SMB turning on the wall hacks, going to be looking for Dino, takes the jump shot and gets shot out of the sky by Dino. That is a nice shot as the Amplification Matrix comes on for Arjani, pushing Washington back around the corner. Heavy pressure coming on. Sneaky was forced to play behind a wall. Now, Immortality Field forced out for UFT, but it's Daleth who gets taken down by Lan. Noixens falls to Dino, and, you know, when you see one team shooting through the enemy's Amplification Matrix, you get an idea of who's perhaps winning the fight. Sneaky Flux answered by Kudalo's Transcendence, and he's forced to back off with only 50 health remaining. SME does find the pick onto Dino. That is a big deal. Having a Widowmaker when the enemy has none left alive gives you so much space to work with on Circuit Royale as you finally are going to be pushed back. Looks like Iverson also fell at some point in that whole chaos and I missed it. My apologies.
No one can hide.
Dino coming back with walls that are unmatched actually right now by SME. Transcendence comes out from Mags, but Dino finds the headshot onto Noixon's Immortality Field comes out onto point, allowing Iverson to just sit and stall. As it's the battle of the both Immortality Fields down. Lamb does get picked up by Sneaky, and it's a battle of the Sigmas on point. Discord orbs on both of them, making them pretty fragile. And it does look like Sneaky perhaps going to be able to find... Yeah, it does find Iverson finally after SME just cleaning house. Okay, SME. 3 headshots in a row. Says hello. Has to just let us all know he's here. And really just running the show on that last fight as Widowmaker. But Washington, they do finish first point, but they finish it with 2 minutes of time make less than UFT had at this point.
That was just like I think that was like a 5-minute fight, so just continuous fighting from both sides.
Yeah. It really is just so hard to like get a decisive cleanup as long as the Sigma's alive. He just has so much sustain against Double Sniper. As Amplification Matrix comes out from Arch, and he does doesn't actually find Sneaky. Instead, Iverson is the one to fall. Sneaky now with Flux finds Poodle Noodle, is going to perhaps also find Archer, and he finds a Venom Mine. That's worth something. Although I can't say how much. Lamb does fall to SME though. Perhaps looking to, get a trade onto the Widowmaker while the team is distracted. Instead, gets himself picked up. Iverson coming back in, looking for the recontest, but the Amplification Matrix from Daleth is going to be too much damage. Iverson dies mid-flux, and yeah, we saw UFT take first point very fast and then get stalled out on second. It looks like it's the reverse. Just a pretty clean push straight from first to the end of second point, as now it's 3 minutes remaining for Washington to get payload basically, but not quite all the way to the end of the map. Lamb trying to pressure out Sneaky, who's looking to push on this high ground. You have to wonder what Iverson is going to be trying to do to him at the same time, though, and Iverson gets rocked slightly faster, falls down, and it looks like it is going to be Washington making their way pretty comfortably up to this first corner on Circle Royale. UFT forced to back off and look for the reset.
Washington just playing so confidently. Sneaky just pushing like deep into enemy territory, and just there's just so much momentum here.
Oh, and there's the swap from Iverson onto Doomfist, I'm sorry. Does take down Noisons, but is himself taken out by SME. Land falls as well. Dino looking for the big jump shot. Oh my!
Kovacs! Oh
no way! That's an insane shot onto SME. However, Daleth still pushing point. Going to be pushed out now by that dive from Lan and Iverson. And there's the pulse from Lan. Picks up Sneaky, and with how sort of split and the uncomfortable that position was from Washington, small wonder their sipping gets picked up. But SME, doing work, trades out too, makes it so that UFT cannot get a good cleanup. They're going to have a little bit more of an awkward position coming back into the defense, and Washington are going to feel a fair bit more comfortable going back into this next fight, as, yeah, we are basically in one-fight territory. I think one clean fight win is all Washington needs to take Circuit Royale.
Indeed they do. Just one more fight can decide the game. But they need to prepare accordingly around this Doomfist, as he is pressuring out the backline of Washington. Along with Mac.
Immortality Field forced out, that allows Dino to pick up Daleth. Flux comes out for Sneaky, but it's not going to be quite enough, as all of his team is dying around him. He's the only one left alive, trying to do what he can, but punched into a wall. There we go, not quite the 4 assists we saw on Lijiang. But 3 assists, not too shabby, speaks to teamwork, or perhaps just to using a lot of abilities. 60 seconds left. And SME now swapping off of Widow entirely onto Sombra, sneaking onto Doomfist. Big changes Coming up, as now we're not really seeing double sniper Sigma, we're seeing Doomfist dive for both teams. Noixons picks up Dino with, it looks like, with the help of I think, Mags on the Zenyatta. And Mags finds land. It's looking rough for UFT. 30 seconds left. Still a fair ways to go for that cart. Aspect is set up there. Has time for the recontest. Dino finds the pick on Noisons. It's last fight here. Sneaky very, very low on the Doomfist. Does pick up Dino. Both Doomfists falling low. Immortality Field is forced out from Daleth. Picked up very fast. The Dragon Strike desperately coming back from spawn. Lamb with Pulse Bomb looking to get something done on that sort of little flank room. Finds Mags. Sombra is forced to touch, forced to translocate right back out. Dino now has walls. You know what's going on. And it is a C9. We'll call that a C9 by pressure, as with Dino having Infrasight up and with Aspect sitting on the point with Argeny, everyone there, so much pressure. Washington can't even get into touch, as it's a real nail biter. But UFT managed to pull out the hold. We saw some really impressive shots from both snipers. Shout out to SME, shout out to Dino, and of course shout out to Kovacs, which I'm sure they both use. If it turns out SME uses aim labs or something else instead, we can cut this out of the VOD.
Oh no, so the other day I was talking to SME just before or just after they won their match yesterday, and he was telling me how I was asking him like, hey, is there like a routine you do every morning, or like how do you perform so consistently at a high level despite, I know of course both teams are in exam season right now, so they're kind of strapped for time, if that's how the saying goes. But SME was just like, every day I wake up, he eats a light breakfast, usually consisting of like a banana and cereal, pretty much, can't go wrong with that. And then he goes to boot up his PC, and it's Kovacs, he tells me. And I was like, oh yeah, okay, so our players at UFC use Kovacs too. And he was like, yeah. And he personally said he finds that Kovacs really helps him more than other games do, like, for example, aim labs, or even, Overwatch aim training workshop
like
codes.
Yeah,
like Vaxta, or even the 1v1 arena, like TXE XX or whatever. So he was telling me how he really likes Kovacs because it provides a lot of personalization to your routines. There's a lot of room for customizability. Is that even a word? It is now. But yeah, he's just telling me how that is the thing that keeps him going and consistently performing every day, day in, day out.
And to any viewers out there, for the sake of clarity and perhaps also legal reasons, I do need to state that Chris is making this all up. It's some impressive storytelling there. Good improv skills. We can give him a round of applause in the chat. Maybe some maybe some emotes. I don't know what emotes are used on Twitch these days. I'm an old man, to be honest.
It's okay. We are definitely getting old. Are you in your fourth year?
No, I'm second year,
second
man.
Year? Oh. Well,
why would you think I'm fourth year?
I don't know. You just sound too wise. There's just a lot of wisdom and experience coming out of your.
No, it is true.
Yeah.
I have a wisdom score of 19.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good, actually.
Yeah, it means I have a passive perception of I'm trying to figure out what class and level I would be, and whether. Let's call it like, I don't know, 8.
8's pretty good. 8 is like
passive perception 8 for like a. I mean, I guess it'd be a 9th level character maybe. Yeah, probably would have to be, unless I'm like rogue and I have the rogue expertise. No, you only get that after 5th level, so I'd have to have a passive perception of 10.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm really showing my full nerd emoji pedigree here.
I don't even know the words that are coming out of your
tangent.
mouth, by the way, but
it's Dungeons and Dragons, to clarify for all of you at home. This is all D&D stuff.
Oh, I thought it was like something related to like psychology or some sort of like psychology study. Like, I don't.
Yeah, someone's what are you studying? CS?
Wait, what am I studying?
Yeah.
I'm
Not
studying
psychology.
Not psychology. I'm studying math.
Yeah, okay, math. That's okay. It's like CS, but a little more honorable.
Yeah,
Don't disrespect any CS students, of which we probably have many
it's the
watching
pure
in
form
chat.
of CS.
Um, well, the pure form of CS is Source. I get it because like Counter Strike.
Oh no, I'd say 1.6.
Okay, sure. And okay, we talked, and now we're heading into map 4. UFT up by 1 map. It's potentially going to be match point. They just need to win this 1 match to advance to the finals, as it is going to be for a push map Esperança in Portugal. This is the one most people usually choose, probably because it's the one they like the most. I am a little, um, you know, still a little saddened that we don't get to see the Toronto map being played. Of course, Washington probably not going to pick the enemy team's home map.
That's true. You can't let UFT have the home advantage.
Well, of course, we say that having no idea how much either team screwed New Queen Street. But yeah, both teams looking to come out with Brawl, slightly different ideas. Sneaky on Jungle Queen instead of the Ramatra that we're seeing from Iverson, but very clean. Actually,
Very
flawless
clean. Wow.
first fight win
Yeah,
from
just
UFT as they're going to be starting to push that bot.
yeah, maybe a UFT. They're from Portugal or something because they seem to have the home advantage on this map with that 5-0 team fight. That was crazy.
And what's the bot's name? Do you remember?
The bot's name is Geo, I believe. I think Aaron Keller said that himself on Twitter.
Hey, Iverson coming in now. On the Ramatra, big punch coming out. Iverson does fall very, 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 very low, just barely manages to escape. But Dino and Archer picked up even now. But Sneaky getting pressured very hard. The particle staff takes him down, not before Iverson also falls. But UFT, it's a scrappy one, but they do manage to maybe take this fight? I mean, yeah, there we go. Okay, Lamb takes out Noixens. That's a little hard to say. And we have this, wow, just Lucio Moira duo stalling, as hard as they possibly can on that point and doing an excellent job of it, I must say. Buying plenty of time for Sneaky now come back on Jarko can recontest. Iverson also back, albeit slightly slower. Pulse Bomb comes up from land, fails to connect just barely. Coalescence is answered with that beat from Arjun that comes up very fast. Kitsune Rush comes out, but Cool Little falls shortly after. Sneaky now taken down by Iverson, who is forced to use Annihilation because of Poodle being taken out, putting him so very low on health. And UFT taking this fight, taking a 3rd fight in a row, but Mags does manage to find the pick onto his counter for Lucio.
I think it was literally 1-for-1.
Yeah.
Over the course of 30 seconds, just kills being exchanged back and forth until Iverson finally closed it out. But he's getting contested here by Tracer.
It is 53-0 in terms of push distance, but those are close fights. Washington looking like a they're looking strong. They've been looking strong all series, and just really scrapping it out. As ult's coming out, overclock for Dino against the Rampage of Sneaky, but overclock comes out from Noixens before being immediately picked up with a headshot from Dino. And Koodle Noodle really shutting down that Rampage from Sneaky. We saw Sneaky get so much value out of that Rampage on Lijiang Tower with no Kiriko to cleanse it on the side of UFT, but now they have one, and you really see, back when Joseph, I think you can really see in retrospect how Jungle Queen was designed around Kiriko being in the game. As now Sneaky is going to be swapping onto Ramatra, and we do have a slight ult advantage, actually, for Washington, with that beat almost online for Mags. Iverson forced low, but so is Sneaky. Beat is forced out almost right away from Mags. Just to stabilize, but it does mean that SME is able to find the kill onto Poodle Noodle. As now Iverson coming out with what's it called? Annihilation. Sorry. Iverson comes out with Annihilation, is taken down by the pulse from SME though. Sneaky also taking down Lamb. And Washington taking the fight.
Washington taking that back from UFT. Just great use of resources there. Just shutting down what UFT had to offer.
And we've seen
But
that.
UFT's coming up with 3 very core ults, especially the double support ults.
We've seen that. That's I think twice now that Iverson's been forced to use Annihilation defensively just because of Kunlun being taken out early in the fight, being pressured. But of course, Sneaky overextends a little bit there. Gets picked up. Mags also falling to Iverson. Daleth taken down. SME does manage to trade out Dino, making it so it's not quite, a perfectly clean fight for UT. And of course, those resets, those staggers, any last kills, any last stragglers matter so much in push. Push is all about momentum, and so really, it's about whether or not you can get clean fight wins. It's about whether or not you're getting staggered. It's about ult economy. And speaking of ult economy, Kitsune Rush comes out for Koodle Noodle. Beat also for Arjun as Koodle Noodle falls low. No kills really from either side until Mags finds land. Sneaky now coming out with Annihilation, takes down Arjun. Iverson pushed out, falls very low as well, takes down Noixens, but is himself getting pressured very hard. Dino falls to Sneaky, and Iverson is soon to follow. And this whole time he hasn't even been touching Cart, so that means that Washington has been able to push that push bot. Iverson doing a little front flip there as he dies. They're able to push that push bot, getting some distance now. We're halfway through the map, and UFT have taken the bot slightly past that first checkpoint. And now it's a question of whether or not they'll be able to stop Washington before Washington match them on that. That checkpoint, control is so important on push. So often it can be just a death knell to be, the first team to have their opponent get checkpoint. The Sneaky now pressured very hard. Looks like Lan is going to try and come in with the pulse bomb. Just barely doesn't connect as SME takes down Dino. Coalescence coming in from Daleth, keeping everyone up. Koodle Noodle falls very, 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 very low and is just barely picked up by SME. However, Lan trades it out for Sneaky. Lan himself falls down. And once again, we are just seeing a slugfest. We've seen that so many times throughout this series. These teams looking, so well matched. As it's just kills being traded out, and Washington do manage, just barely, to get the bot to that checkpoint. And they do, however, have a little bit, perhaps, of an ult disadvantage.
UFT just managed to steal the bot, preventing Washington from taking that lead. If they do
Washington
take the lead,
do not
that
want
would
to take the
flip
point on
the
that low
game.
ground.
Yeah.
Smartly backing up, letting UFT take it to the bridge, and that's where they're trying to choose their fight. Oh, but Dino coming in with the overclock beat, comes out to answer, but Sneaky's still low. Iverson also getting pressured. Dino falling low as well. So much damage for both sides. Ult's traded out, and Noisens finds the shot of Dino. Socians are traded. Looks like recoil force out for, I think, SME in the Tracer duel. I'm not 100% sure, though. And now Koodle Noodle pops Kitsune, but falls. Is it going to be enough? It looks like it might very well be. 3 down for Washington, but Iverson is also taken down. It's only 2 alive on either side. Now Lan is going to look to find Sneaky with this pulse bomb. Oh, but is picked up by SME just barely before being able to connect it, but Dino is there. Dino is there, Arjuni is there, Sneaky falls, SME is pushed back, and now it's really just a slugfest. They're fighting to prevent Washington from getting that couple of meters they need for the lead. Arjuni comes out with the beat. Both teams just trying to stagger, trickle onto the point. UFT wanting to stall it out, and they have successfully stalled it out. Mags falls down. Noixens falls down. Koodle Noodle falls very low, but looks like will survive. Sneaky swapping onto the Doomfist, perhaps try for recontest, or perhaps to change strategies, but whatever strategy that is, it's not going to work out. Sneaky falls. Coalescence from Daleth doesn't find anything. Shading out of it, or rather fading out of it, thanks to that new patch. But otherwise, not really getting much value at all out of that Coalescence. SME falls. Looks like Daleth is going to be staggered out by Lan as well. Or not, Moira almost unkillable actually when she has cooldowns. Never mind, Moira doesn't die. UFT once again with the push bot past the checkpoint, and now they are, Washington very close to closing that lead that UFT had, but now UFT have prevented that and they're widening it. Mags falls, Sneaky falls, but again, we're trading out over and over and over and over, just 1 for 1, 1 for 1, 1 for 1. Koodle Noodle falls, and now there's basically no support, just Arjuni alive. For UFT, but Arjuni is going to be enough. Ramatra, with that Nemesis form, has quite respectable self-sustain of his own. Iverson, 34 health. SME so close to making the hero play that really would have, just completely turned that fight. If Iverson gets picked up there, it's a totally different story, but now Iverson is alive. Dino takes Sneaky very low and looks to press the advantage with Overclock, not quite able to find anything though. Smart rotates back from Washington. Oh,
nice.
that's just a... I mean, I don't even have words for that.
Like Kovacs, that's what it was.
On Neusens. But really, that fight, I don't mean to undersell that beautiful headshot from Dino, but that fight's all about the macros. It's all about that pressure, all about the fact that Washington were not able to take a clean fight with all of their players alive, and U of T were, and Iverson is able to come out with that annihilation and just after so much pressure put on, just clean up house. As now it's the final ults being exchanged. We're in the final seconds of the fight, and the touch does come out for Washington. They do have point. There's this ult being traded, and it looks like UFT has the better bank. Annihilation comes out for Sneaky. Will it be enough? It does find Argeny, but there's no supports left alive for Washington. Sneaky falls now, and with just DPS still alive, SME gets picked up. Neusens tries desperately to take it back, and forces the recall out of lane, I believe. Not even, no, never mind. Forces just uplink. Mags tries to stagger back on a point, is taken down, and at the end of that is a real nail biter. Some just scrappy one-to-one trading fights. But I think U of T looking just a bit stronger, cleaner, a bit better in their macros, and able to find those clean wins and deny them to Washington. Looking very comfortable on Achenwald, on Esperanza, and taking this series now 3-1 against Washington. What a show! What a series of games! Wow,
that was absolutely insane. Just every game just felt so close. Just every fight was very scrappy. There's just so much room for the individual plays from both teams to shine through. As we saw, SME's Widow, Dino's Sojourn, of course, Land's Tracer. Just so much. Big props to both players for putting on such a performance, and congrats to UFT for moving on, and moving on to grand finals.
Yeah, and that is. I'm excited. I think you're excited as well, Chris. We've got two excited Chris's here, and I'm sure we've got a lot more excited people who probably aren't named Chris in the chat, in the audience, and surely on our team. And now we are going to be seeing those grand finals Tuesday, April the 25th. So actually not this coming Tuesday. Tuesday, 9 days from now. My mistake, sorry. So stay tuned. It'll be about a week more, I believe, before we see the grand finals. But I mean, what an absolute series that we saw there. I'm really excited to see who we have going up against U of T in the grand final, and we're looking really strong. Honestly, I think if we give a performance like that, like the performance we gave today, there is some serious chance of U of T taking grand finals, winning first place in the NACE Open, and at the very least, with just an absolutely stellar performance today, U of T Blue have secured themselves a very well-deserved spot in the grand finals.
Very well spot. A very well deserved spot indeed.
Very well spot.
A very well spot. Let's go. Be sure to mark down April 25 in your calendars. That's a Tuesday. And come back to our stream and just cheer on UFT for a chance, to win absolutely nothing. But you can come and cheer on your favorite team, your school, because they have a really good chance of taking the title of the champions in NACE Open Premier.
Now, I've been Chris. Joining me has been Chris.
Indeed.
And so from one Chris to another, and from two Chris's representing the University of Toronto to the University of Washington and their team of Overwatch players, we can say good games. Really, gave our players a serious run for their money, made them really work and sweat for that spot in the grand finals. And now from one Chris to another Chris, finally to an audience of I mean, if anyone's named Chris in the audience, just say so in chat, please, I beg you. But from 2 Chris's to all of you, I hope you enjoyed tonight's matches. I hope you'll tune in again on Tuesday for the big grand final. I hope you'll be cheering on U of T Blue. And yeah, once again, I've been Chris. Joining me has been Chris. And have a very excellent late afternoon and evening.